And now I have to say it again because apparently it was muted on the stream. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Comic Book Chronicles. I can edit that first one out. Ha! This is the Comic Book Chronicles. I am your host, Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter. You can find me at NewsNoteSneed on Twitter. You can find me at CBCaps on Instagram.
South Carolina with Columbia down the way.
That was weird. And the sound effects that you've heard come from none other than our man in Brooklyn, @agent_70 on Twitter and Instagram.
You're reliable as ever co-host, people. What's up?
I was about to say, whoever said you were unreliable, I don't know who those people are. Oh, actually, that was something I forgot to ask you about before the show, but we'll might have a little surprise at the end of the show, folks. But yes, this is the Comic Book Chronicles. You can find us at the CSPN.us. That's the comic book. That's the Cold Slither Podcast Network.
Do it today.
You can also find us on your podcast perusal place of choice, whether it be Google Play, Apple iTunes, aka Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the Cold Slither Podcast Network's SoundCloud page. And I don't have a knife. How about that? You can also find us recording every Thursday night, 9:30-ish Eastern Standard Time, on the Kliq Nation's YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/thekliqnation and twitch.tv/Comic Book Chronicles.
Make sure to hit like and subscribe and click the notification button, please. 5-star reviews all the way.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Interesting. I should get off Twitter. Anyway, folks, we are going to get into a little spoiler very much free recap of this week's She-Hulk. That is episode 4, which is entitled Is This Not Real Magic?
Are you not entertained?
Apparently that audience was not. Very much was not. So we actually have decided we're not going to go through a blow by blow, which granted we've been not doing anyway because the show comes out on the day we record, so we're giving giving folks time to watch the show and experience it for themselves.
Right. So, last week was an exception because of because of changes in our schedule. We ended up recording on a Saturday, so we were more free to discuss more spoiler details to that week's episode of She-Hulk. But with this week being a regular timely episode, it's a little different. So without really spoiling everything, we get a pretty interesting nickname given to Wong by a very interesting cameo or guest appearance by a new character who may become a recurring character depending on how well received this character is. But ultimately, there are two plots in this episode. The first one is kind of a fake out because prior to the airing of this episode, it had been revealed that there was a character named Donnie Blaze coming into the She-Hulk universe, and there was a lot of speculation that this was in fact Johnny Blaze, the main Ghost Rider that most people know, but in fact it's just it's a character with a similar sounding name, and ultimately this character has a very different background, and it's a character who, without spoiling too much, treads very lightly in the realm of real magic, and that is the source of the title of this episode. He treads very lightly, and for legitimate reasons, but somehow I guess they don't do very much of an inventory and commertage. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, apparently not, because which they don't even get into that part because of what but yes, this I don't want to call him a full-on sham of a magician, but let's just say he's not very good at his job.
Well, I think what ends up happening is, and because of the ties that I mentioned to Kamartaj, I would say without spoiling that he knows the difference.
True.
And he's not very good at doing the illusions that bring in that entertain.
Right. He has the potential, actually, because I mean they clearly showed he has potential, and and he does have more ties to direct ties to Kamartaj. So
right.
So
exactly.
So it's not like he does not have any kind of potential. It's just that he's, some would say, squandered it, or possibly was probably not that good even there.
Right. Right. And may have flunked out quickly. We'll put it that way.
Yes.
So ultimately, one of the other kind of main storyline is Jen Walters trying to find love in the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
and being unsuccessful with it until she opts to show another side of herself.
Yes. To which, as one would expect, has gotten more hits.
Right, and brings in a different type of person. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. So we see the B plot being Jen's dating life, and the A plot being this whole thing with Wong and this other quote unquote magician. Both, it's a fun episode in both respects, and they don't even when they kind of come together, for a little bit of action, it's amusing.
Right.
In itself. So.
Right. We do get, believe it or not, another appearance by cousin Larry Appleton, or Appleton, aka Jennifer Walters' dad, Morris. We also have a stinger at the end. I want to remind everyone that there is, in fact, a stinger at the end of the episode, so you should, in fact, stay for that. And the stinger is, interestingly, and I didn't realize this because I wasn't really looking at what was on the screen, but I didn't realize that this is something that I have watched.
So
admittedly, a big tough guy here. I have watched this show, but I also didn't realize that. Well, there's a show at the beginning, which made me laugh because you recognize, if you've watched the show, you recognize the theme song, and I'm kind of surprised that HBO gave its blessing for this. This kind of mini crossover, because HBO is kind of like a WB thing.
Right, but they're happy about it.
I'm sure for cross for promotion, right?
Right. So here's why I want to stop and say this, because this is probably a spoiler that's probably necessary, but not necessarily, because I mean it's an old show. Both of these are, one's older than the other.
But... I was about to say the one. Yeah, I was about to say the one that's in the tag is actually, and I didn't realize, I wasn't looking that closely at it. I assumed it was one thing.
Right. Well, no, that one's not as old as the other one I'm about to mention.
Exactly. The one that's in the stinger is actually just ended. So, right. But yeah, go ahead.
So all I was going to say is, if you are one of those people who are like, hey, I haven't seen The Sopranos, or are currently going to through The Sopranos and are still in the early episodes, you maybe not want to watch this episode just yet.
Listen, I was very glad to be one of those folks that finally took the plunge on The Sopranos at the beginning of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. That was like kind of first on my list of, hey, I'm stuck at home, I should binge watch something.
Yeah, a lot. So was a lot of people. So yeah, I'm sure you're definitely not alone in that one.
Right. So I was like, oh, I'm queuing up HBO Max. So
yeah, but as far as the show in the stinger, let's just say that one wasn't. I don't think there was anything spoiler in that, but let's just say it's the big tearjerker event television show in the last, say, 5-6 years.
Yeah.
So you know what that is.
Yeah, I'm a guilty fan.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I hear it's really good. I just can't bring myself to do it.
I'm a guilty fan. Big tough guy right here.
Hey, but hey, it shows you got range, you got emotion, so there ain't nothing wrong with that. So, but yeah, I hear how good the show is, and I was like, I hear what they keep going through with that show. I was like, no, I'm not doing it to myself. I'm not doing that. No, it has nothing to do with being big and tough. It's just like, no, I don't need that. Life is already tough. But anyway, that I say all that to say that, yeah, like I said, the Sopranos thing, the Sopranos kind of shows up, and there was a spoiler for early season seasons of I would say it's particularly where, but I just do use a favor.
I want to say it's within the first 2 seasons or 3 seasons.
I believe it's 2, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the case. Otherwise, that She-Hulk was another fine, fun episode. We got another appearance of Wong, and as Jen says, everybody loves Wong because yes.
So this is what Wong was watching, and I just didn't recognize it. I didn't look closely at the screen because Wong was watching this when Donnie Blaze appears for help. So now I'm going to go back. Now I'm going to go back and take a look at it, and I'm going to recognize it.
Right, and in this, because I believe, then and the Stinger, he was watching that, and then the Sopranos was we was watching
at the beginning. Oh man, Wong, I know how you feel, man.
Yeah, he was 2 through. So something and so which I guess I will say this part because this is what brings us to the spoilers on that because Wong got spoiled on something, which so there is that. I felt so bad for him too because he looked just totally just like man. But nevertheless, yeah, our possible breakout character in Madison with a Y and 2 N's. Aside in Jen's dating profile, dating life, which I almost thought there was going to be something else going on with that, because, especially with what happened at the end of last episode with the Wrecking Crew. But it hasn't been said that it has anything to do with that. It was just something. Yeah, it was just her going through her neighborhood life, which I want to say also might possibly be something that was out of the comics. If it hasn't, I would be shocked if it doesn't, because I feel like I have seen a scene that happens to her and her last date in the comics, but I couldn't tell you which one. So
gotcha.
And even if it wasn't, hey, at a certain point, I wouldn't be surprised if that wasn't the case. Like I said, I feel like, yes, it was I want to say it was the supermodel dude that was possibly in Slot's Run. So, because a lot of this show is taken from Slot's Run, so I want to say that might be where a similar situation happened, but
with the dating stuff.
Yeah, with particularly the last date, but not nowhere near the same. There was something that happens at the end of this episode that kind of reminded me of a similar thing that happened to her.
Gotcha. Yeah. Where the Jen Walters Hulk dichotomy doesn't exactly work well.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
But other than that, like I said, it's a fun show. Good times. You should definitely watch it. But like I said, if you're going through the Sopranos early season, you may want to get past season 2 before you watch this.
Right. And if you do happen to watch This Is Us, they don't spoil anything. They just show scenes.
Right. And if you are watching This Is Us, more power to you.
Hey, listen, I like the show.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know,
you're a better person than that because I can't. Like from what I've, because I know when that show was coming out and I was on Twitter. When the night it would come out and people were talking about it, it was like, why are y'all putting yourselves through this? Why?
Oh,
but hey,
anyway.
but you know what? Good television does that to you. So
exactly.
It's a good thing. Now we're going to push on. I believe Agent 70 said he was going to kind of briefly talk about Rings of Power.
No, House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon.
Because
okay,
Rings of Power, as Roddykat just reminded me, doesn't come out until Fridays. Even the last week, the premiere week, they introduced a timed release for Thursday evening at 9 o'clock, essentially when we record the show. So I didn't end up watching it until Friday. Ultimately, they are now going to be scheduled for Friday release, for new episodes of The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power on Prime Video, Amazon Prime Video.
Right.
So we won't be talking about that, but I will just very quickly touch upon the most recent episode of Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. In our most recent episode, we get to see more dragons, and we also get to see some of the time jump that has happened since the first 2 episodes, because a lot has changed since those first 2 episodes. I want to just confirm very quickly. I think it was episode 4. I want to say it was episode 4 we're up to now, but I don't recall. That's why I want to just pull open my pull open HBO Max on my phone very quickly and just see what. Come on, Elvis. There's an ad for Elvis on the front page. So what are you gonna do? They just introduced. Let's see here, House of the Dragon. See, I think it was episode 3. That's what I think. Yeah, 1, 2, yeah. Episode 3, Second of His Name. So that was the episode that we just had this past Sunday. So it's been a few days. I'm still not going to spoil it, though, because some people may be behind. I'll just say that we got to see a little bit more of outdoorsy things. You know, we kind of left the castle and the palace intrigue that had dominated the first 2 episodes. We get to see a little bit more of Rhaenyra and how things have changed in the time jump since the second episode, the time between the second and the third episode. A lot of things have happened between the King Viserys and developing his line, let's say. Also, his brother Daemon Targaryen is off doing kind of Daemon Targaryen things, and we get a little bit of superhuman Targaryenness going on in this episode. It's it's like borderline superhuman stuff. So I'll leave it at that. You know, we do get kind of some cool pitched battle stuff. It seems like the big bad of the first 2 episodes really wasn't all that bad. He kind of gets taken out in this episode. Kind of goes out like a punk. But at the end of the day, listen, if you're a Game of Thrones person, this is catnip for you. You'll love this stuff. I'm not that big a Game of Thrones person. I'm just, I appreciate the show. I'm not that, it's not like I've read all the books. I appreciate the show. I appreciate kind of being part of the pop culture phenomenon that is Game of Thrones, just so that I understand some of these costumes that I'm probably going to see at New York Comic Con next month. I'm probably going to see somebody dressed up as something from House of the Dragon.
Fair, and I think they've already started.
Yep.
Yep. This past weekend. So.
Right. So I would not be surprised to see at least a few House of the Dragon costumes when I hit the floor at New York Comic Con in less than a month now. Yeah. So we can move on.
Solid.
What's next?
All right, guess we're getting into books then. Excuse me. And we're going to start off with She-Hulk number 6.
Okay, let me get my sheet up here. She-Hulk number 6 is written by Rainbow Rowell, art by Luca Maresca, colors by Rico Renzi, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna, who is at our favorite lettering paisan. Just give me a moment. I will have my copy up. So in something that is, I guess, was retconned in as a regular weekly thing, that Patsy Walker, aka Hellcat had tried to institute in her days during her tenure on the Defenders. She tried to institute something that involved a regular meal of having cake and wearing fancy clothes. We'll put it that way. I'm not going to completely spoil it, but she's out with Jen Walters in her She-Hulk form, and they are discussing things. You know, and there's definitely a tease for what happens at the end of the issue. Meanwhile, Jen has the career blessing of pulling in a gigantic, well-paying client.
Yes.
Much to the surprise, originally chagrin, but then to the delight of her new boss, Mallory Book, who is technically not Jen Walters' lawyer nemesis. They are working together, and ultimately it turns out that things are not as they seem in the office because relationships abound.
Yeah, that one threw me off. I was like, wait, really?
Yep, that one threw me off as well. And I'm not familiar with Slott's run at all. I'd only read Soul's She-Hulk run. So I do need to kind of circle back to Slott's run. But at the end, I'm sorry?
It's a really good run.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try to circle back to it using our handy dandy tool, our Marvel Unlimited subscriptions. They are not sponsors. We just happen to use that tool a lot. It turns out that this issue contains a pretty big development that had been teased for several issues in this run so far. And it took them a while to get to it, and they finally got to it. So it does happen in this issue. I will leave it at that. I am obviously being purposefully vague so as not to spoil anything with regards to that. So I will hand it off to Roddykat to wrap up our discussion on She-Hulk number 6.
Whatever. I'm gonna spoil the whole thing. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, everything Agent 7. I am. The only thing that is funny to me is Mallory's change of heart when it came to because initially she was like,
"You mean the big client?"
Well,
yes, this is what
but,
changes her mind.
I know, but exactly, I know. So that was the funny part because she had this whole look, you're a superhero, no superhero. I mean, even though she in the past has defended superheroes and villains most specifically, because that's how the whole nemesis thing kind of came about. But now she's had a real change of tune, knowing that there's they're about to be they have a retainer now. So
right.
And I know as the one legal person on this here show, I know Agent 70 can appreciate that term.
Hell yeah! This is not hourly billing. It's not hourly billing.
So there is that, and like Agent 70 also said, like, yeah, there was an interesting revelation, I guess, that's going to be had in the next issue or two because of a file that Jen gave Jack, which he should have read. Especially that, which kind of messed me up because it's like, wait, you know good and well what happened then, and two, you even thought about whether you were going to tell Jack about a certain time in the Avengers history that he was unintentionally involved in, and I'm pretty sure the file that she just gave him has that information, so she probably should have looked at that. But like I said, we will see what happens with that in the coming issues. But it looks like as though that there's been a rekindlement at the end of this issue. As Agent 70 said, that was kind of alluded to.
I was about to say, I don't think that's the word. I think it's just rekindling.
Huh?
I think it's just rekindling.
I know it is. I thought I was going off of the entanglement, you know.
Ah, where is it?
So So I know what the word is. I was just
I'm like, that's not a real word. That's like whatchamacallit, like the people that use irregardless. I'm like, no, the word is irrespective.
Well, those
it's
people are crazy.
Irrespective.
Those people are loony, not crazy. Excuse me, because we don't use that term. But you know, those people have no sense. But this
the word you need is irrespective.
But this was me purposely doing this. So. But anyway, that is She-Hulk issue number 6. Still enjoying it. I don't know when this thing's supposed to, because I don't think it's an ongoing. I thought they said it was a limited series, but usually a limited series would have ended by now, unless it's like one of those 12-issue minutes limited series, which could very well be. We don't know. So
we don't have anything in. We don't have any indication in Comic List,
right?
And I don't think we've seen that in Diamond either. So I think, at least for now, this is an ongoing.
And they could have changed that.
Giving her some time to. Right, I think they're giving Rainbow Rowell some time to tell the story.
Right, which I'm fine with. I'm very much fine with. You know, but it was also could have been like, because I think something similar might have happened with her Mockingbird book, to where. A similar thing might have happened, like it was slated for one thing and didn't end up being another, and then just kind of ended when it ended. So, regardless, I'm it's been good as long as it's been here, and I'm going to enjoy it as long as it's going to be here. So we can move on to the next book, which would be Moon Knight number 15.
Okay. Moon Knight number 15 is written by Jed MacKay with art by Alessandro Cappuccio, colors by Rochelle Rosenberg, and letters by VC's Corey Petit. Let me grab my copy of Moon Knight 15. And I have to say that this book really does an excellent job of delving into the current state of Moon Knight's and Mark Spector's different DID. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, it's actually a pretty healthy depiction of sharing one's mental health status, and mental health situation. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I agree.
It was a nice depiction of it. It was a nice way of establishing the status quo, of how this particular version, this current version of Moon Knight deals with his DID diagnosis and how they're treating it as opposed to how it's been treated in the past. It's a very modern take, I think.
Yes, agreed. And even
we also had, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say even all of the other avatars kind of get a moment in the sun in this issue while it's going on, because they are all basically working together to find out some information about these two characters that we had not found out about previously. That the two villains that we that were introduced to in the last few issues.
Yes, that's where I was going to go. We do find out, not even through exposition, we actually get like Moon Knight using his other identities to suss out and really investigate the identities of these characters who basically handed him his lunch previously. Dissociative, I could not remember for the life of me what that first D was. Dissociative identity disorder.
Right.
And
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but that was an interesting way of telling the story that MacKay chose, in order to not have, a character just say, this is such and such and such and such, who's hunting you down. We actually have one aspect of Mark's persona, his multiple identities. Really, different aspects of his multiple identities, investigating his pursuers and his tormentors, and each of them are going about things in their own way. And we have, as Roddykat said, the reveal of who these folks were and possibly who sent them.
Right.
And we
No,
also have. Go ahead.
I was about to say, yeah, I think the Who Sent Them, we got that part. We still just don't know that much about.
Why?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Basically. So.
And I would just end with, there's a lot of cool setup here, and we're it's leading into something in the next issue. That's the point of the cliffhanger at the end of the issue, that there's definitely something being set up for the next issue.
Yeah, the only thing I have to add to that, I've found this as a weird aside to in this issue. We find out what Mark and his other avatars all drink. So this was a week to finding out what people drink, apparently, because a similar thing happened in this week's She-Hulk with a character. So I found that kind of amusing.
Really?
Yeah.
Which character in She-Hulk? I'm having trouble recalling.
Wong in the Stinger. I mean, in the tag.
Oh! When you said She-Hulk, I was thinking the comic.
Oh. Yeah.
I was like, I don't remember that in the comic. In the show, now I remember.
Right.
It's something to do with yak's milk. But
yes. Yes. Right.
I got a kick out of which characters drank which drink. And I'm like, oh. Mm-hmm. So I guess I kind of roll with Stephen Grant a little bit, although once I read this I was like, I should put some vodka in the fridge. I haven't had ice cold vodka in a long time.
It was an interesting description of vodka that he put down in so I was like, I never thought about it that way. I'm not that big on vodka, but I will drink it in in things.
Right, exactly. I've had it as a mixed, but not cold and straight. Like
I've had it straight. Oof, I don't
like Russian people. No, I've had it straight, but I've never had it cold, like ice cold, like that. That's interesting to me. I'm like, I should grab a bottle and put that in the refrigerator, in the freezer.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm thinking I am nowhere near like Drake, but I appreciate his choice of drink.
What did Jake drink? I forget.
I believe he's a rum guy.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm not that big on rum. Yeah. I'm okay with rum, but again, that's something that I'll have mixed. Right. But I definitely lean towards dark brown alcohol, like Stephen Grant.
Right, I think he said Scotch, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was an interesting thing for them to put in. I mean, it has no bearing on anything, but it was like, because as some folks would say, your choice of drink that kind of says what kind of person you are, I guess.
Yeah. Scotch or whiskey is one thing. Yeah, Scotch or whiskey, is like kind of like the professional-ish drink.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So
the rum is for the rough and tumble, or in this case, pirates, as they said,
right.
And Mark with the vodka. I'm not sure what that's supposed to say.
Yeah, Scotch for the serious Mr. Grant, rum for the rascal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Mark Spector is vodka ice cold. I'm like, I'm gonna try that. It's been a while.
You let me know how
anyway.
It out for you. But yeah, Moon Knight 15 was a pretty good issue this week. We can safely say. So it's leading to a show, I guess a round 2 with these other characters again.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a potential click of the week for me.
Yeah, same here. I can say that. Same here. So we move on to rapid fire now.
Yes, because we've got a few books to get through, and we've got a little bit of a time crunch here. So here we go.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Emptying the mags.
Mm-hmm. You go for it, and I'll chime in when I get to a...
No problem. First up for me is Batman number 127. It's written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Jorge Jimenez, colors by Tomo Mori, and letters by Clayton Cowles, not with VC. This is a freelance job for him. So the failsafe that Batman has devised for himself is still running roughshod over the entire Bat family, and ultimately they have to call in some reinforcements. And if you're thinking, who could they call in to defeat a failsafe device that had been designed specifically to take out Batman? You're probably right. There's one character who you think they would have called. It's not the Ghostbusters, but there's one character that they can call on to help in that kind of situation. Next up, and there is a backup story involving Catwoman and possibly dealing with the succession line that Oswald Cobblepot has established for himself. It turns out that Oswald Cobblepot is most definitely not dead, and they are that, and Zdarsky and I guess the Batman team over at DC are setting up a line of succession for his criminal empire. So maybe they're going to, tap into some of the issues and the character dynamics from the HBO show Succession. It's definitely a possibility. Next up is Black Panther #9. It's written by John Ridley with art by Herman Peralta, colors by Jesus Aburtov, and letters by VC's Joe Sabino. So now that the insurrection / civil war in Wakanda has been settled, we're apparently back to a story that happened before that. And John Ridley definitely threw me for a loop here. And I think he threw Roddykat for a loop as well.
Yep.
There's some real wackiness going on, which Ridley actually uses the characters to acknowledge. He absolutely uses the characters to acknowledge that there is something wacky going on, something weird. And, it involves some space characters who definitely don't use the most appropriate and definitely offensive language. Even kind of playing on the idea of colonizers and colonization. And it was just kind of a tough read. Anything else that you have to add on this?
So it wasn't actually that tough for me. It definitely was jarring because it was like coming out of that last arc, we were thinking, okay, well, he's going to get back with the Avengers and they're just going to do some stuff, like get back to business like they normally would. I did not. And if you look at the cover, or at least me looking at the cover thinking, oh, maybe Claw's involved because this seems like some Claw manifestations going on here, but I don't remember the state of Claw in the Marvel Comics universe at this point. Now that I'm thinking about it. So, but yeah, it is definitely a weird turn of stories for that's in a mainline book, because it seems like as I'll talk about in another book, I'll talk about something that seems out of continuity, put it this way. But like Agent 7 said, it is something that draws back to the beginning of this volume, of which both of us forgotten. Well, at least I more forgotten than he. I think he remembered it more than I did, but
only a little,
right?
Only a little, and only because it happened essentially right before the whole Civil War stuff. So, be that as it may, it definitely felt a little out of place. That's why it was a tough read for me.
Right. Yeah, it definitely feels out of place because the way it reads. I agree with that. But I would say it was fun. Definitely still out of place, but it was kind of fun. I admittedly, as Agent 70 said, there was some language used that was kind of let's just say not used now, but I kind of chuckled at the what this alien called T'Challa. Right. And I also was thinking, wait, is this the first time that term has been used in comics, or particularly in recent comics? Because I was
about to say probably in current comics.
Right. So I was going to say, has this been a while since I've seen that in comics? But yeah, like I said, that was kind of amusing. And that's all I have to say about that.
Pulling out the Forrest Gump.
Yes.
Next up is Captain America: Sentinel of Liberty #4, written by former guests of the show, Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, art by Carmen Carnero, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. So we have some more interesting developments between the Power Elite and Steve Rogers. We kind of get a little bit of the day in the life of Steve Rogers, but he's being stalked by a mechanism, a soldier basically, acting on behalf of the Power Elite, and we get a nice little Bucky, you've never been alone, and it does help to remind the lone wolves in our lives they are never really lone wolves, especially if they've got a buddy like Captain America. So
yeah, that was a nice touch.
Yeah. So ultimately, I think that's a nice little touch. But we're moving this Power Elite storyline along, and we'll see what comes of it. Next up is Ghost Rider number. Oh, anything else on Captain America: Sentinel of Liberty number 4?
No.
Okay. Next up is Ghost Rider number 6. It's written by Benjamin Percy with art by Brent Peoples, colors by Brian Valenza, and letters by VC's Travis Lanham. So the Ghost Rider finally deals with what has been plaguing him throughout this run, that being essentially a possession. It's kind of weird to have Johnny Blaze being possessed by what is essentially a demon that really exerts itself when Johnny Blaze is in control, but doesn't have much power when the Ghost Rider is running things. And ultimately, the two parts of Johnny Blaze's existence kind of have to come together with the aid of Wolverine. And of course, Wolverine is going to play a role in this one because the two characters really interacted with each other in the 90s. Especially when Johnny Blaze returned in the pages of the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider and became a more prominent player in that Spirits of Vengeance book. So Wolverine definitely had his encounters with Johnny Blaze over the years since the character's reemergence in the 90s. And it's no coincidence that Wolverine would be in this book, given that Benjamin Percy also writes Wolverine in the Wolverine book that I'm going to talk about later, as well as X-Force. So I think it should come as no surprise that Wolverine plays a role in this, and probably will play an ongoing role in the background of Ghost Rider going forward.
Yes, and we will have some news about that a little later on.
Next up is Immortal X-Men number 6. It's written by Kieron Gillen with art by Lucas. Hold on. Werneck. Wow, my typing was terrible today. I was knocking out my credits just before the show, and I'm like, that is not his name. Art by Lucas Werneck, because he was named a Stormbreaker by Marvel. Colors are by David Curiel and letters by VC's Clayton Cowell. So this should be read after AXE Death to the Mutants number 2 of 3. So you know what? Let me jump to AXE Death to the Mutants number 2 of 3 first. It's also written by Kieron Gillen with art by Guiu Villanova, colors by Alex Guimares, and letters by VC's Travis Lanham. So I'm jumping around a little bit here, but because of the reading order, I don't want to talk too much about one thing without talking about the other. In AXE Death to the Mutants number 2, we get a little bit of insight into what the mutants are doing to try to defend Krakoa in conjunction with their efforts to battle the progenitor who the Avengers and the Eternals have created out of the celestial remnants of Avengers Mountain. And, characters are being judged left and right. Things are arbitrary. Kieron Gillen's choices of who gets passed and who gets failed or continue to be kind of, I don't know if mind-boggling is the right way to put it, but there are characters that talk about how, Captain America got judged and, everybody's screwed if that's how Captain America got judged. So it's kind of funny to see that. But, there's some hints as to these giant Eternals and these giant Eternal robots that are wreaking havoc on Krakoa. There's a hint as to their true nature, we'll put it that way, and the true nature of the Eternals and their version of immortality. I think that is where Kieron Gillen is really going with this. kind of creating a parallel with what's been happening with the Krakoan developments and mutantdom in general. So it seems like that is the goal of Kieron Gillen's Eternals centric storytelling. I am pulling up my copy of Immortal X-Men #6 so I can talk about it. Again, this is more X-Men stuff as it relates to being judged. It's a Judgment Day crossover. Ultimately, all of these crossover issues deal with specific characters dealing with being judged by the progenitor. And in this issue, we have, there's a spotlight shown on Sebastian Shaw. And I'll leave it at that. There's plenty of stuff that happens in here that's worth reading if you've been keeping up with Immortal X-Men. It is definitely kind of like the Game of Thrones type story, lots of politics and palace intrigue when it comes to Krakoa, and that's the whole point of the Immortal X-Men title. Next up is Punisher #6. It is written by Jason Aaron with pencils by Jesus Saiz, inks by Paul Azaceta, colors by Dave Stewart, and letters by VC's Corey Pettit. So in this issue, we get a throwdown between the Punisher, Frank Castle, amped up just a touch by the Hand, the ninja cult, and their magic. But that still doesn't compare to an Olympian god, aka Ares, the god of war. And yes, the Sentry did tear him in half way back when, but he's better now. And ultimately, he's still an Olympian god. He can take punches from Hercules. So the Punisher, gets his butt handed to him. And there are kind of weird developments here in terms of, whether or not the Punisher is going to snap out of whatever spell that the Hand may be, holding over him or weaving over him. And at the end of the issue, we finally do get a guest appearance. It's the stinger, basically. It's the splash page. It's a splash page. Oh my gosh, I don't know why. I must be super tired. Cliffhanger page. It's the splash page cliffhanger page at the end of the book, where we get a cameo appearance by, let's say, a long-awaited character, because this character has had parallel developments in his own book that would lead one to presume that this character and another character are going to cross paths with the Punisher any issue now, and it was bound to happen, and it finally did. Last but not least for me is Wolverine #24. It's written by Benjamin Percy, as I said earlier, with art by Federico Vicentini, colors by Frank Darmada, and letters by VC's Corey Petit. This issue does involve Wolverine getting judged, or on his way to being judged. It also harkens back to some of the Death of Wolverine story. It also calls back on Ten of Swords stuff with Solom. Remember that guy? Right? Kind of like the adamantium skin guy.
Mm-hmm.
The Iraqi guy. It sounds so weird because it makes it sound like I'm saying he's from Iraq, but he's Iraqi, like Arakki, right? So ultimately, a lot of elements of Wolverine's past get woven together into the story. And as I said, I guess this is going to be the course we're all going to have to follow, which is in these individual tie-in books of the title characters and some of their supporting characters being judged by the progenitor. And that's going to serve as the quote-unquote tie-in into Judgment Day. So that's it for me, folks. Handing it off to Roddykat.
Well, alrighty then. First up for me is Star Wars #27. And it's written by Charles Soule, art by Andres Genolet, or Genolet, colors by Rochelle Rosenberg, and letters by VC's Clayton Cowles. So, believe the last time we talked about Star Wars, there were these undercover Crimson Dawn agents in this secret Imperial weapons base, which we found out is the rebuilding of the Death Star, because this is taking place after Empire Strikes Back, before Return of the Jedi. So apparently, Kira called upon these agents to kind of cause some havoc and get out of there. And this issue is pretty much them trying, with their kids, trying to get away from the Death Star, but it doesn't seem like they planned it all that particularly well. There are some things that they didn't plan for that end up coming after them, along with some TIE fighters. They tried to get some word to the rebels, and they're kind of taking it a certain way, but apparently at the end, someone of note will possibly be taking up the mission. I believe also during the Rebellion's meeting, one of the generals, who happens to be from Star Wars Rebels, I believe this is one of the first times they have had a speaking part in this book. Or in this, and or possibly the other volume of Star Wars, if I remember correctly, but I might be wrong about that part. So it was good to see this character, because I love that character. But that's pretty much that. So will this couple be able to get away and get their message to the rightful people? We'll find out. Next up, Magic: The Gathering number 18, written by Jed MacKay. Excuse me. Love it when that happens. Art by Alessandro Cappuccio, color artist Rochelle Rosenberg, and letters by VC's Corey Pettit. So this is when things start coming together, folks. And that is actually the wrong creative team outside of Jed MacKay, because I'm looking at Moon Knight.
I was about to say, I'm like, you're reading off of what I just talked about.
So I did Magic: The Gathering and Moon Knight back to back, because Jed MacKay. So, but I had the wrong one clicked in my notes here. So, written by Jed MacKay, that's true. Illustrated by Ed Guara, that is who's doing that. Colors by Ariana Consani, and letters by Ed Dukeshire. That is the creative team for Magic: The Gathering number 18. So, like I said, everything is starting to come together in this, because there was a trap set for the bad guy, of which was sprung in this issue, which leads our intrepid heroes to go on the offensive now that they could get into Ravnica. But first, taking a nice little side trip to a new area of the Magic: The Gathering universe called New Capenna, which was the last actual expansion of Magic: The Gathering cards that came out this year. So that was interesting enough. But like I said, the crux of this issue is that the trap being sprung, the heroes now have access to Ravnica and going on the offensive and freeing their friends. And there was also a nice little tender moment between a couple of them. And the confrontation with the main villain, Tesseract, which was also kind of a smokescreen for us for a little secret mission that he's not aware of. So, like I said, things are kind of coming together. We'll see what happens with in the next issue. Last but not least, for myself, is All Out Avengers number 1. And I don't have to worry about spoiling this for Agent 70, because I know he's not going to read it. And if you're a long-time viewer, listener of this show, you will know why once I talk about the creative team. It is written by Derek Landy, with pencils by Dirt's and Agent 70's favorite person, Greg Land.
Hiya.
That terrible, man. Your mother brought you up wrong. That's what it is.
Inks
Greg
by-
Land.
Yes, the infamous Greg Land. We have spoken of his art many a time on the show. Inks by Jay Leston, Leiston, I guess. I'm not sure which it is, but I apologize.
I think it's Leaston, to be honest.
Is it Leaston? Okay.
I think so. I've heard. I want to say, I've either heard it spoken a number of times.
Okay.
I don't know if I've ever met him at a con, but
Gotcha.
I think it's Leaston.
Okay. And colors by Frank Darmada. So, as I told Agent 70 earlier, this seems to be almost in the vein of the Avengers Mech Strike books, although there are no toys involved with this. And I'm saying that because this doesn't seem to be a story in continuity. In fact, there's a little bit something seemingly going on behind the scenes, because there is some narration that we see through at various parts of the book that would denote that there is another hand at play behind what is going on here. But essentially, we start off with the team of Avengers that is not the Avengers that is in the core book now. It's basically, although some of them are there. So we got Cap, Black Panther, Thor, Spider-Woman, Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, and Iron Man. And at the start of this book, one of those have been corrupted by something called the Dark Veil or something like that. I can't remember what it is at this point, and is running amok. But there's a couple of things going on. So we got Thor and Iron Man fighting against Captain Marvel, who's been corrupted, and then we have a couple of other teams. Actually, I believe Blade is also in here, but they don't show up. But he doesn't show up on the cover. Now that I think about it. But and then there's a couple of offenses going on, because there's this villain who I assume is an alien in nature, who is causing havoc, and there's this bow involved that can restructure reality. And like I said, it's a weird, almost like it feels like a D&D campaign that just kind of ran amok. I mean, we do know Marvel's got that D&D, their D&D thing coming out next week that are playtesting, but this seems like somebody just ran amok and just put this together, because like I said, even with the narration that happens throughout here, there's some changing of what is said and or done in a couple of spots, like I said, which kind of denotes that there is a hand kind of guiding what's going on here. To what extent, I do not know, because none of it gets explained in this particular issue. So I'm not sure. I'm definitely going to check this out, check out the next issue, but I am not entirely sure, because even at the end of the book, they said they kind of took some inspiration from that nonstop Spider-Man book, and that kind of went off the rails.
Right. It was fun for a while.
Yeah, it was fun.
Went off the rails.
Yeah, when it went into that the new menu, the new limited series that came after it, that was attached to it, it just went off the rails.
Right.
Whether this one's going to do that same thing, yeah, I feel like it'll kind of starting off on a certain note, but we'll see. But yeah, that's it for me. Kliqs of the week.
Kliqs of the week.
Oh, I forgot to pull that one, but nevertheless, we do have one from Dirt, one of our co-hosts. It is Phantasmagoria, #1 from Black Caravan. He basically says, imagine a gory modern horror exorcist / possession movie, but set in Victorian London.
Okay.
Yeah. So Phantasmagoria, I thought was a magazine, and maybe it still is. And
Well,
this was...
Yeah, I was about to say it sounds a lot like Fangoria, which is the magazine.
There is also that, yeah. So maybe,
but I don't know if there is a Phantasmagoria.
That might be what I'm thinking about, since you now that you're saying that, but I'm not sure. But I feel like I've seen another magazine or book called Phantasmagoria. I know I've seen a video game that is similarly titled, but I know that's not it.
Right.
So yeah, there you go. That's Dirt Pick. I don't have a cover if you're watching the video version because I didn't know he was going to pick something from someplace we don't normally get stuff from. What about you, sir?
Yeah, I kind of spoiled this way back during our discussion of books. I think I'm going to go with Moon Knight number 15 as my choice for my click of the week this week. I thought it was a well-balanced, well-told story.
Yeah, that it was. That it was. For myself, it was definitely out of Moon Knight and She-Hulk. I did like that. I kind of like Black Panther, but like I said, it was kind of a little off-putting because of the fact that, like I said, what we came out of. It's just like I figured the tone was very different from what we came out of, and
it was a weird change of pace.
Yeah, so I guess I'm going to go with She-Hulk number 6.
It's not a bad choice. I thought about it.
Yeah. So, and with that, folks, we are going to go into the news section. But first, how about an ad read?
Alrighty. What did I say my other ad read was? I know what the short one is.
Wink.
Okay, because I closed it by accident. My apologies, folks. I'm going to open that up in a second. All right. Our first ad read of the night is for Wink, your personalized wine club. Wink is a world of wine delivered right to your door. From rosé to cabernet to torronté, Wink has over 100 styles of wine to discover. Ever try an orange wine? Wink connects you to a world of exclusive wines tailored to your taste and delivered directly to your door. Wink delivers 4 bottles of wine to you every month with free shipping. You can pick your own bottles or let Wink choose and match to your taste. It doesn't cost a thing to become a member, and you can skip or cancel anytime. And now the listeners of the Comic Book Chronicles can enjoy an exclusive discount of $20 off your first order. To place your first order with $20 off and to help keep our show free for you, go to our network website at cspn.us/wink. That's cspn.us/WINC. Wink wines through CSPN. Do it today. And now we get into the news.
And we start off with the cinematic news as we do every week about this time. I'm going to actually before we actually get into news, I'm just going to put this out here real quick. Last week we talked about Disney Plus Day, which that is today as of this recording, September 8th, Thursday, September 8th. And I'm just going to say that there's really not much of note that came out of that we didn't already know about that came out of Disney Plus Day, because Thor: Love and Thunder's out there that premiered today on the show. The making of Thor: Love and Thunder, also the making of the Obi-Wan Kenobi thing is out there. Apparently, there's a $1.99 promotion for new subscribers to Disney Plus, so there is that if you're not already in it. There is, I think the only other thing of note would be there is a special look at Andor, the next Star Wars series, which is coming up in a couple of short weeks. that is coming up. So if you're interested in that, there is that. Outside of that, there's really not much comic book related that is of note, like I said, that we did not already know about. Again, we are going into D23, which starts tomorrow, so I'm sure we will have some news from that. That being said, the story behind She-Hulk's Dream Come True cameo, and this is a spoiler for last week's episode, by the way, is that was Tatiana Maslany doing all that twerking.
Huh.
So, which makes sense. Well, that does not make sense, but so she's doing a mocap for She-Hulk, and you know, she's a big Megan Thee Stallion fan, so the fact that Megan Thee Stallion was on there in the first place was a big come true. And apparently, that line that she said in the post credit scene was something that was written for her because of the fact that she was a big fan of Megan Thee Stallion, the Stallion. So yeah, all that twerking that She-Hulk and Megan Thee Stallion's been doing that y'all have been beefing about on the internet, even though we've had way stupider. Not stupider, way similar and yet more crazier stuff in the Marvel universe, such as Tony Stark with retractable poles, you know, from the first Iron Man, or was it Iron Man 2, I think, or Tony Stark being drunk, because there was a lot of people saying like Tony Stark would, you know, starts off the MCU, and for this to happen, kind of stupid mess. And then you remember in Iron Man 2 when he was drunk and going in his suit.
Oh, yeah.
And you remember that kind of stuff? But these people were thinking, like, yeah, he was so virtuous and all that. So anyway, this is so stupid. The internet's dumb. So yeah, the tournament was Tatiana Ali, and it was fun. It was great, and y'all need to get a life. Next,
I just thought it's of the moment. I thought it was, you know, fun and silly.
Right.
You know, that's how you should take it. Right. So, you know, get a grip, people. Seriously.
Right. Yeah.
Next up, apparently, Tim Roth isn't exactly sure what happened to Emil Blonsky's tattoo. So in the original Incredible Hulk appearance that Emil Blonsky made, you can see some of Emil Blonsky's tattoos, which are actually Tim Roth's actual tattoos. However, in She-Hulk, that tattoo around his arm seems to have been removed. Folks have been trying to figure out the reason on Reddit. So Roth was asked about it in a recent interview. And he said that, well, you'd have to talk to the powers that be about that. And when it was suggested that maybe the Abomination's powers had healed the skin, Tim Roth replied, it could be that he sheds. It could be that. For now, it'll just have to remain a mystery. Interesting.
Yeah. Sure. I'm sending Agent 70 something of a particular note, which might be in the show notes, actually. But I'm going to move on. Oops.
No. Oh, no. Oh, no.
She-Hulk's Tim Roth endorsed Captain America 4 as director to Marvel Studios, which is kind of weird because there was a couple of articles going around saying that they wanted his opinion on this person before they hired Tim Roth for She-Hulk, which kind of sounds a certain way if you take it a certain way, but it wasn't that way. So basically, Captain America New World Order's director Julian Ona was giving an endorsement to Marvel Studios by Tim Roth, who worked with him on a 2019 film called Loose. But basically, Tim Roth praised the director upon learning that he was helming Captain America 4. And in an interview with comicbook.com said, quote, okay, let me tell you this. Julian is incredible. He's an extraordinary human. And the story that we told, and that Tim Roth basically didn't know he was doing Captain America 4, and, you know, blah, 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 yakety smackety. Hey, he's thumbs up for this dude directing the next Captain America movie. So, next up.
Ironheart has added Regan Aaliyah to the cast of the Disney Plus show. Deadline has reported that the Club Mickey Mouse actress has signed. Nothing is known about the role or what part she will play in the series, but that's interesting news.
Yeah, one more person. Oh, I have a theory. I know I sound like some of the shout out to the Phantom Hybrid podcast. Somebody has to play the AI Natalie, or who was the AI of her best friend who, God damn it, Bendis, who
gets got.
Yeah. So I'm going to assume that this could possibly be this person here. Don't know that for a fact because we don't know who was this, but I don't think they actually put that information out there. So this could very well be that person. We'll see. Next up, though, apparently MCU's Werewolf by Night Halloween special cast is villain, and I believe actually there's another article out there saying that there's a picture or Jack Russell basically has been announced. But this was reported by the Illuminati, which sometimes we tend to not take stuff from places like that, but nevertheless, it's a rumor. We can go with it. Desperate Housewives star Harriet Samson Harris has been reportedly cast as a character named Veruca. Not Veruca, Veruca. The leader of a cult from the House of Bloodstone. So it says, while Veruca does not appear in the Marvel comics, she may have some connection to another comic. She might be related to Elsa Bloodstone. Who do you even know? If you know who that is, then that means something to you. So, but we'll see if any of that holds true. Next up,
I was about to say, if you don't know, you still don't know.
Basically,
Disney Plus teases the X-Men on Disney Plus Day. So this article is from September 2nd, so it's almost a full week ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Disney Plus had fans up in arms after using a Wolverine GIF, not GIF, but GIF, to hype up Disney Plus Day. On social media, the streaming service sent X-Men fans into a tailspin with their well-timed post. Okay.
Spin it. Bump, 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 bump. Since you did say tailspin. So.
Oh, my goodness.
Daredevil Born Again star Vincent D'Onofrio drops a quote-unquote thirsty Kingpin tease. Boom, boom. No, he's not throwing it back, folks. It's basically a flask with Fisk on it that he tweeted about. I guess when he was a boy, he was allowed to have a flask just like this. Okay, I don't know. But yeah, apparently, I suspect, I don't know. I guess there's going to be some merch. This could potentially be some merch somewhere down the line. I wouldn't be surprised. But we know that Kingpin is potentially slated to return both in Daredevil Born Again when that happens, but also possibly the Echo series when that drops. But we'll see. Next up.
Wow. So interestingly, Charlie Cox, while playing Matt Murdock in Spider-Man No Way Home, actually had an extended scene which was shown in theaters, and apparently there's more than a few scenes, but there's definitely one scene in which Matt Murdock confuses Happy, and that there's a good reason for that particular interaction, given that Jon Favreau, the actor who plays Happy, had also played Franklin Nelson in the first Daredevil movie.
Oh, right. He did do that with Affleck. Yeah, that happened. That was not a great movie, but that still happened. So, yeah, December 3rd was Cinema Day, which was also the same day that Spider-Man No Way Home.
You mean September 3rd? You said
what did I say?
December.
Oh, yeah, I'm ahead
You
of
said
myself.
September 3rd. Yeah.
My apologies. Which actually is going to this next story anyway. But it was National Cinema Day. They was giving out $3, not giving out, but basically selling tickets for $3. And also Spider-Man No Way Home returned to the theaters on that day. Which brings us to the next story, in that Marvel apparently wins Labor Day weekend box office because of the No Way Home being back in the cinema. Which we talked about this because basically it was a different version of No Way Home called the More Fun Stuff version, which the aforementioned deleted or the aforementioned scenes from the last article and a few other articles a few other scenes were put back into the movie for this version of the movie. So yeah, apparently it did quite well. Let's see, it's extended cut added 13 more minutes of new footage, which, like I said, the stuff that we talked about, and
that's a lot.
Yeah, no.
13 minutes is a lot. That's not a negligible amount.
Right. Now, I don't think there's any I don't know if they're going to do anything, because I mean, obviously No Way Home is already out on DVD or in Blu-ray. There is possibly a chance they could put out this more stuff version.
I mean, wouldn't you think it's already there and you can just play it?
You know what?
I don't
honestly
watch it yet though. That's the thing. I actually, that gives me pause now to see if I should wait for like the deluxe version.
And that's why I said that, because I'm not sure. I don't know, honestly. I should check. Because
You have a copy?
I think I have a copy of No Way Home.
Okay. Because I haven't gotten around to getting it yet. So
yeah, I think I have to check, but I think I do have it. So but yeah, I'll see if there's some of that stuff on, or it could be some brand new stuff. Who even knows? I doubt it. That's being the case. 'Cause normally, like you said, that stuff would have been in the original version. So
right, just as deleted scenes, and if you just wanted to watch the deleted scenes, kind of out of place, I'm going to guess that the Blu-ray itself doesn't have that option of putting those extended scenes in as the super fun version.
Right, and that would be the difference with this particular version if they happen to come out with with another one. So I don't know. I will check and get back at some point. Next up, John Williams premieres new Indiana Jones 5 theme music for the Phoebe Waller-Bridge character. So the legendary composer performed Helena's theme for the first time on Friday. Interesting. So this happened last Friday. Interesting. So this is the first listen to the soundtrack for the long-awaited 5th installment of the Indiana Jones franchise. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I don't.
Wow. So this movie's still 9 months out. Wow.
Yeah. Now, should it be out?
That's something else.
Yeah, that's another story entirely. Because after that last one, oh boy. Which I shouldn't say that because I only saw parts of the last one. Anywho, Rings of Power producer on Embracer Group's Lord of the Rings acquisition, quote unquote, no shortage of stories in Tolkien. So yes, folks, not the estate of J.R.R. Tolkien, but basically the Embracer Group has embraced the Lord of the Rings as they have embraced many and plenty of things in the video game and other markets. So, yeah, and it says here, in the process of gaining the rights to the Lords of the Ring, it raised all sorts of questions about the impact of Amazon's Rings of Power. This is like the Embracer Group's buying of the rights to the Lord of the Rings. But Amazon itself isn't thinking too much about the ramifications of the deal. But I guess they don't necessarily have to, because I guess they already had this already done. I mean, already in the works before they got bought. Before it got bought, I guess. Anyway, speaking with IGN, Rings of Power producer Lindsay Weber says that no one has had much time to process the ramifications of the far-reaching deal. With 50 hours of television to make, she says that the team will be busy for quite some time. Because I believe, didn't they already say, or was it either House of the Dragon and or this is already getting a season 2. I think.
No, I think House of the Dragon already has a season 2. I don't know about.
Okay, I knew it was one or the other. I couldn't remember if it was one. Or the other.
I'm not sure. So I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure about this about Rings of Power, but I'm definitely sure about House of the Dragon. That is.
Gotcha. So yeah, whether anything will come out of whether anything will change for Rings of Power with the new rights holders, don't know. Probably won't be anytime soon, even if it does. But I kind of doubted it would, because like I said, I feel like this was something that was already in the works before the thing happened. But then again, stranger things have happened now that I think about it. So next up,
where is Eclectic of the Eclectic Relaxation Podcast when I need him, when we need him? Because he has coined the perfect phrase for what I am about to react to what I am about to talk about. Shout out to Eclectic. I always love to tell him that we shout him out on our podcast. You should go over to the Eclectic Relaxation Podcast and the hip hop and his hip hop podcast. I'll tell you what they're called in a second, just because I want to give Eclectic his props and throw him all the flowers, because at the end of the day, he does lots of good work in the podcast realm. So just give me a moment, folks, and I will describe to you the show, give you the titles of the show. So there is the Eclectic Discussion Podcast. There is the Encyclopedia Hip Hop Podcast that you should also tune into. So those are the main two podcast feeds that you should tune into for content produced by our good friend at Eclectic on Twitter. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Warner Brothers Discovery is back looking for a new chief of DC film and TV content, as the former frontrunner Dan Lin is no longer in the mix. Lin apparently dropped out of the negotiation phase for a number of reasons, the main one being excuse me, his commitment to two other companies, his own production company, Rideback, and his new nonprofit, Rideback Rise. Lin had been involved in the Warner Brothers world for a long time. He produced several Lego-based movies for the company, and he produced the Warner Brothers popular It movies, as well as Sherlock Holmes and Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows. So, it is still an open question as to who will run DC Films. The one reaction that we have that's appropriate is... And I follow that up with what Eclectic coined, and it is so apt, so apropos. DC stays losing.
Indeed.
Shout out to Eclectic. Go check out his podcasts.
Folks, this past September 5th was the 30th anniversary of Batman, the animated series.
Ay, ay, ay.
The premiere, specifically.
Ay.
Boy, I'm too old for this shit.
So if that don't make you feel old, I don't know what will. But nevertheless,
it is, after all, the definitive Batman portrayal in all of media.
Absolutely.
That's my opinion. I think many people will agree with me.
I would be one of those people. I would very much be one of those people.
In all of media, in all of media, I would even argue that, most of the comic books don't portray Batman as well as the animated series did.
Yeah. That is agreeable. In fact, you just reminded me of a video that I need to put in the show notes, but I will get that in a second. Basically praising, it was more of a Kevin Conroy love fest, which, hey, deserved, but it was basically about Batman the animated series that came out on that day. So yeah, folks, I just put that article in just to say that there is some more of the Batman news coming out, and I know there were people on that day, that was talking the praises of Batman the animated series, and of course DC was doing their thing, tweeting about it and asking people their favorite episodes. I definitely was one of those ones who went back and watched a couple of episodes on that day because of this. Gotta watch some Almost Got Him. That's classic. Harley and Ivy, and I believe, I didn't watch Cat in the Claw, which would have been accurately appropriate. Because that was the first episode. Although a lot of people said it was On Leather Wings, which I think that was the first one I saw. I don't care, but I think in show order, Cat in the Claw came out first. Either way, it doesn't matter. The show's great. You should watch it if you haven't. It's still on HBO Max for the time being, and the anime series is 30 years old, which I guess there's another bit of news along with it about another character associated with the show that is also turning 30. That also turned 30, but we'll get to that in a while. Next up.
So the direct was in attendance at Dragon Con's Arrow Guest Saving Star City panel, where actor David Ramsey, who played John Diggle, hinted that Superman and Lois, the show, may keep the Arrowverse alive past the Flash's upcoming 9th and final season. And the question on my mind, and I would think on many people's minds, is
Why?
That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I guess there's that's the thing. Black Adam trailer features the Justice Society of America and the first look at Sabak, not to be confused with the card game in the Star Wars universe. So yeah, the final trailer for Black Adam has been released, and alongside showcasing the power of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's DC anti-hero, it also gives us a new glimpse at the Justice Society of America and our first look at the villain Sabak. Black Adam is coming out October 21st, and according to this article, they've been given more details as to what can be expected from the movie. But you know what? You can watch the trailer for yourself if you are so inclined. Will be in the show notes if you haven't already seen it out there on YouTube. Next up.
Now, forgive my ignorance, folks. Every time Roddykat said Sabak, I'm not a big Star Wars person, but I kept thinking he was talking about the card game.
Yeah. Yes.
So, it's just weird that there's a character named Sabak who's the villain in Black Adam. Yeah, I'm assuming it's comic book canon that's the character's name also. So
yeah, that's why I said not to be confused with the card game.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Anyway, next up, the Bloom County animated series gets a showrunner, and it is a veteran of the Simpsons, Tim Long, who's going from Springfield to Bloom County. He has been a writer, story editor, and producer on The Simpsons since 1999 and will serve as co-showrunner of the network's Bloom County animated series with cartoonist and creator Berkeley Breathed. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know there was going to be a Bloom. Well, I guess there probably was something out there about that. But yeah, Bloom County's getting an animated series. Go figure. Guess what, folks? We almost got a different Captain America in the MCU in the form of Ethan Peck, who some may know as Spock from Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and I believe Discovery, if I'm not mistaken. So apparently, per the direct, Peck, who, like I said, is playing Spock in Star Trek now, was at a panel at Dragon Con this past weekend, and basically said, "I've had a lot of he was talking about memorable auditions that he's went through. He said, "I've had a lot of bad ones. I've had some good ones, I guess, but some memorable ones. I was of a smaller group of actors to be considered for Captain America for many years, which stands out. And also, I came pretty close to the role of the Deep in The Boys." If you know that character.
Yeah, I know who that character is.
Yeah. So yeah, there we go. Obviously, we know who is the MCU Captain America, so clearly that didn't happen.
Probably for the better.
Possibly. Quite possibly. So next up.
All right, next up. So the original 6 Star Trek films. I forget which numbers are the good ones and which ones aren't. It's the odd ones that are the not good ones, right? And the even ones that are good?
Correct.
Right. So the original 6 Star Trek films have been remastered for 4K. So you can get them on Blu-ray in 4K resolution. Have fun with that if you are a fan. Right. Let's see, pricing.
If you have a 4K TV at this point.
Right. I am looking for the pricing. Still, like, this article is full of comparisons between the 4K image and the previous cut image.
Yeah,
I'm just looking for the pricing. I probably just skipped past it because I'm still scrolling. This article is freaking long.
Yeah, no, I don't think you did. I'm not sure if it said as much, but it is a long as it is a long article.
Scrolling. Get this webpage scrolling. So yeah, I couldn't tell you for the life of me how much these are, but hey, if it's that important to you, go for it.
Yeah, I don't see it. It's just not in there, but I would imagine it's got to be at least a good 30 a piece, depending on how they package them.
I would guess that would be a good guess.
Yeah.
Maybe even
What-
a conservative guess, to be honest.
Oh wait, yeah, kind of. Well, actually, it's a movie collection according to this, so that's probably upwards of 80, 90.
Yeah, I was about to say that might be just as much as $100.
Yeah, if it's a collection, like individually, I could see a little bit more than what I originally said. But it's a because I know Blu-ray. I mean, 4K discs usually go upwards of 30, minimally at minimum. Or 30 or 40 actually at minimum. Either way, hey, if like you just said, if you're into that, go for it. And if you got it, hey, knock yourself out. I still haven't watched that recut that's on Paramount Plus of the first one. I should get on that one day because I am very curious. Next up, though, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 trailer takes Tom Cruise all over the world. Actually, that's might be slightly facetious, but Agent 70 saw this at the beginning before we started recording, so this is so we have both seen this trailer teaser thing, which has Tom Cruise basically introducing the trailer in the most Tom Cruise way, one of the most Tom Cruise ways, by him being on a plane, sounding like Waldorf or Statler from the Muppets, because of the wind was whipping around him at however high up he was. So, but yeah, if you haven't seen it, this is footage that came out of CinemaCon that has been put out there. And yeah, next Mission Impossible movies coming at some point. Actually, wait, when does this thing come in? July 14th, 2023 is for the first one, and June 28th, 2024 for part 2. You should go check it out. It's an interesting looking trailer. It's or a teaser. Next up,
Regal Cinema's parent Cineworld files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So this is the parent company of Regal Cinemas, and not too long ago, the Wall Street Journal reported that the chain's ownership was mulling over the move, and now it's official. Cineworld filed with the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Southern District of Texas. Let's see here. As part of the Chapter 11 cases, Cineworld, with the expected support of its secured lenders, will seek to implement a deleveraging transaction that will significantly reduce the group's debt, strengthen its balance sheet, and provide the financial strength and flexibility to accelerate and capitalize on Cineworld's strategy in the cinema industry. The second largest movie theater chain said via the Hollywood Reporter. So, it's not, curtains down for Regal Cinemas by any stretch of the imagination. This is just a reorganization of their debt so that they can try to get out from underneath whatever crushing debt payments they have.
right? Yeah, and ultimately probably will affect moviegoers at somewhere down the line, because they're already raising prices as it is there, or at least they already had been raising prices, whatever. So, we'll see. Whoa. Wait, let me make sure. Okay, no. I want to make sure I didn't skip something. Love, Death, and Robots animated anthology series wins Primetime Emmy Award, and actually just reminds me of some news I totally forgot about another show, but that's fine. Next week. The staff of the Primetime Emmy Awards revealed the winners of the 74th Annual Awards across 2 nights on Saturday and Sunday. I believe Chadwick Boseman posthumously won for What If, from what I've been seeing, and some other folks. But let's see. Love, Death, and Robots animated anthology series won the outstanding short form animated program for a couple of its for a couple of its episodes. The dual animated short from from Star Wars Visions was also nominated in the same category, and apparently that Netflix Cowboy Bebop was nominated for outstanding main title design, but Severance won the award. So there you go. Now we're going to get into the anime corner. That's actually
All right, first
quite
up in Anime
appropriate.
Corner, JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Stone Ocean launches new episodes that you can watch on Netflix. Is that an exclusive thing for Netflix?
I believe it is.
Okay, I did not know that. So Netflix's
not
episode has released episodes 13 through 24. This marks the second episode drop of the series so far. Okay.
Yeah, I want to say it is, but I'm actually not entirely sure. So because I haven't checked like Crunchyroll or wherever else for it.
Right. Yeah, we don't have any way to confirm this, but it sounds like this is an exclusive release.
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah. So, and on that, apparently Stone Ocean makes a major change that some fans are not too thrilled about. And this happens to be in the form of a stand of one of the villains has. If you know anything about JoJo's, 1 is bonkers. 2, at some point they end up being stands. 2, let's just say, music is involved or referentially, music is involved pretty much the whole way through. And one of the villains had a stand whose name was a 2000s band, I guess, in the original manga series, but I guess they changed it to something else for the anime, which had some fans kind of upset.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I will leave that to folks to find that out for themselves. Anyway, next up,
My Hero Academia Season 6. Is gearing up for a full war between the heroes and the villains, and the newest trailer for the anime shows off much of what's coming our way in the next slate of battles. So season 6 kicks off adapting the longest and most intense phase of Kohei Horikoshi's manga series, and it is set to premiere on October 1st in Japan, and Crunchyroll has confirmed they will be streaming the new season alongside its release. So can't wait, folks. It's coming very, very soon.
Netflix is doing a live-action Yu Yu Hakusho. Oh God.
This the trailer is in fact very, very entertaining. I've watched this already.
Have you? Okay. Cool. Next up, Mob Psycho 100 Season 3 promo ready for Mob's comeback. It says here that Season 3 will see Mob entering a new era following his intense slate of battles in the second season of the series. While the massive battles is only likely to get stronger from this point on, one of the major points of interest from the beginning is whether or not Mob himself would be able to hold back all of his massive powers. Now the newest promo falls in line with other character promos revealed recently by hyping past adventures leading into new episodes. And of course, you can check that out for yourself. If you're a fan of Mob Psycho 100, you probably already have 2 or 3 different times already. Next up,
Sword Art Online, the movie, announces a release date. So, Sword Art Online, Progressive Scherzo of Deep Night. Wow, what a title. The second film in the Sword Art Online progressive film series will be released in theaters throughout Japan on October 22nd. So that's interesting. It was originally scheduled to debut on September 10th, but they pushed it due to COVID outbreak. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So I guess, the Sword Art Online, I think, is on my list. Pretty sure it's on my list. Oh, no.
I doubt that.
What's that?
I said I kind of doubt that, actually, but I don't know. Maybe you're.
No, I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, you might be.
I don't think it's Sword Art Online, but I'm going to double check while.
I don't remember you mentioning that one.
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, I'm probably thinking of something else, but I'm going to double check. I'm looking over my list now. I do have it. Sword Art Online. It's number 35.
Interesting. Okay.
Someone put it on someone mentioned it, so I put it down on my list.
I know I probably have mentioned it, but I wouldn't have mentioned it to where it would be something that you would be interested in watching. Maybe somebody from your advisory panel. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think so. Yeah, somebody else on my advisory panel. And I made some recent additions to my anime list. There is Heroic Disciple Kenichi, Paranoia Agent.
Oh, okay. All right.
O- Overlord,
Okay.
and The Way of the House Husband.
Yes, Way of the House Husband is good.
Okay.
I will say that. I gotta watch that second season or second part, whatever. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's real short too, because it's basically like a couple of minutes.
Right. I was about to say that was recommended to me because, in part because it's short. Because now that I've finished Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I'm kind of looking to get into something else. I wasn't necessarily looking to jump into or try to jump back into Naruto.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I was looking for. I haven't chosen anything yet. I've been on a week-long break from anime, so we'll see what I choose next.
We'll talk after the show about your impressions then. Before now, Dragon Ball Super Superhero shows off Piccolo's hilarious new role. It's actually not hilarious. It's actually a role he's been doing probably the bulk of Super, honestly. Let's be real about this. So just but either way, basically, everybody knows Piccolo is Gohan's real dad. Gohan's married to Vidal, had a kid named Pan, and now Piccolo is his granddaughter, basically. And he, like I said, he's already pretty much been that role throughout the bulk of Super. So this is not necessarily that big of a news, but I guess something in Superhero kind of.
Right. I mean, Goku was dead for a while.
Right. Well, even when he wasn't dead.
Exactly. But he was dead for a while. So it should be no surprise to anyone that Piccolo is basically a stand-in father for Gohan.
Right. So, and has been all this time. And like I said, and now he is added Pan as his grandkid, which makes all the sense in the world. So, next up.
Sorry, folks. I was just kind of going through to see if there's any spillover news.
No, there isn't.
Yeah, I was just checking. The official Twitter account for New York Comic Con announced on last Friday that Viz Media will hold the North American premiere of Bleach: The 1,000-Year Blood War, the television anime based on the 1,000-Year Blood War arc of Tite Kubo's Bleach manga on New York Comic Con on October 8th. New York Comic Con noted that the premiere event will be ahead of a simulcast of the anime. Okay.
I said this on Twitter, but I am very much debating about trying to catch up with Bleach.
Bleach?
Yeah.
How far behind are you? Is it long?
It's long, yes. Like Naruto-ish kind of long, basically.
That's pretty long. I was gonna say, well, you mean the original Naruto, or like including Naruto Shippuden and all that stuff?
The original.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember how long it is, but it is quite lengthy. How far am I? I'm a good ways in. I'm probably about a good 50, 60 episodes in. I think I stopped because of the Bounce story arc is a filler arc, and it's not. Yeah, it's all right, but I think that's where I stopped the last couple of times I tried to make a run at Bleach. So, but anyway, like I said, I may take a run at it and try to catch up before this happens. I got a month. I could possibly do it, but we'll see. We'll see, fans. And now we're going to go over to the manga corner, which is only honestly one thing. I'll take it. Sure. Elden Ring.
I was about to say I was the one that read the last anime corner. So go ahead.
Elden Ring gets an official manga, and it's a comedy. So Elden Ring is a video game a lot of folks like. It's basically it's a Dark Souls type video game. If you are in the know about that kind of stuff, I believe Elden Ring was also, I believe George R. R. Martin has something to do with Elden Ring. Now that I think about it, regardless, as reported by PC Gamer, there's a manga out, and it is available for free online in 12 languages and published from Software. From Software's parent company, Kadokawa. It follows Asiya, a wretched tarnished, as he navigates the weird and wonderful world of the Lands Between. If you don't know what Elden Rings is, none of that makes any sense. I kind of know what it means, and I still don't know what the hell they're talking about because I never played the game because I don't like those games. Regardless, it's out there for you Elden Rings fans, and I know there's a lot of you out there. And now we're going to go over to the comic book corner, comic book news.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
Right, so a new Sandman comic pits the Corinthian against the angel who invented Mormonism. Interesting. So yeah, for people who have watched the Sandman TV show, have you watched it yet, Roddykat?
No, not yet.
So it's well worth watching. What I've been told from, and I've talked about this on the show before, what I've been told from fans of the original comic book, who were friends of mine, who basically relayed to me that it's not necessarily worth going back to read the comics because the TV show does a very good job of bringing the comics up to date and modernizing a lot of the story so that it reads better, so that it is interpreted easier from the eyes of 2022 as opposed to 1987 or 88. So one of the characters that has proven to be a big hit is the Corinthian, and now there is a story in I guess I'm looking for the title. I'm trying to read through this. It's not an easy article to get through, but I guess there's a book called Sandman Nightmare Country, and it focuses on has put a spotlight on the Corinthian character. And if you're looking to catch up with where the character might be now, go out and check out that limited series.
And do it while you're sitting on some rich Corinthian leather.
Oh no.
Which I recognize as a joke only a certain vintage would know.
Mm-hmm.
DC's latest anthology highlights why Super Sons and Gotham Academy needs to come back. So spoilers for a couple of stories in DC's Saved by the Bell Rev book, which is out. It just came out last week.
Yeah.
Actually, honestly, I meant to take this out of here. But nevertheless, apparently, excuse me, the stories of Gotham Academy sophomore year and back to school, basically highlight Gotham Academy and the Super Sons. And I guess this article is gushing over that because they like both of those two series. So, which actually, to be fair, Gotham Academy was actually not bad. I don't think I read too much of Super Sons, so sure, why not? Next up.
So the Flash has his work cut out for him next year, 2023, as he goes up against an entire army within the span of a minute, all while his book begins publishing on a twice monthly schedule. Wow, that's a lot of Flash.
It is.
Is it in advance of the ill-fated Flashpoint movie? Is that why they're trying to push the Flash?
I doubt it. And I don't.
But it's weird that they'd be going twice a month.
I mean, Flash is pretty popular. I mean, I think what's his name? Who's currently writing?
Jeremy Adams?
No, I don't think he's current writer.
But this is the character. This is
right.
I guess one of the people who's working on this bi-monthly book. Oh no, when it goes twice a month, that is.
Or maybe he is, because maybe who just got off of the Flash book, because I can't. His name is escaping me right now. Supposedly did a pretty good run. So
Williamson.
Yeah, Joshua Williamson. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, but he's been off for a while now because he's been doing other stuff.
Correct. So,
right.
But yeah, but I'm not sure.
Which brings me back to my original point.
Right.
Which is that, I'm wondering if they're trying to push the Flash in advance of, again, that ill-fated movie.
Who knows? Maybe you might be onto something, or who knows? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense one way or the other.
Exactly.
So, but nevertheless, here we are. Bink. Next up, DC's Flashpoint Beyond reveals the Mandela Effect's secret origin. Apparently, so it says The real-life memory tricking phenomenon known as the Mandela effect has an intriguing sci-fi vibe to it, and DC has given the curious notion its very own origin, tying it to one of the publisher's own crisis-level events, as revealed in Flashpoint Beyond. Flashpoint Beyond 5, to be specific, by Jeff Johns, Tim Sheridan, Jeremy Adams, Zero Monaco, and Mikhail Janin, features an explanation as provided by the Time Master's historian Bonnie Baxter, who cites Zero Hour Crisis in Time event in reference to the phenomenon. Quote, those that travel through time are painfully aware when history is rewritten. Baxter explains to television host Angela Chen, but everyone else also ends up with a vague recollection of a past that isn't theirs anymore. So... and apparently, this article kind of goes into the explanation of what basically happens in that, or building up to how they got to that point with this. In that, we won't be going into that though. Next up,
Flashpoint Beyond. Goodness. Rion reveals the smartest woman in the DC universe. DC reveals that in this issue, a preview for the miniseries 5th issue by writer Jeff Johns, Tim Sheridan, Jeremy Adams, with artists Hermanico and Mikhail Janin. So I think this book came out this week, right?
This is the same issue that I think I was just talking about. Yeah,
Flashpoint number 5, right?
I believe so.
Right. I think they also I saw a story where they actually attempted. They claim to have revealed the Joker's real name in this book.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, but apparently this character, Bonnie Baxter, is the character that is the smartest. She's the third smartest person on the. Or no, she's she's the smartest woman on the planet.
Right. And this is the same Bonnie Baxter who is apparently associated with the Time Masters. Excuse me.
Right. And my response to this is, where are you? Where is Korath? Where'd you go? There you are.
Who?
Thank you. That's what I get for rearranging my my soundboard, folks. As Roddykat basically is coughing up a lung, I am going to cover for him and go on to the next story. Let's see here. Our next story is DC teases a major Justice League related pregnancy. Oh God. So the Flash 2022 annual #1 from last week hints that Wally West's wife Linda Park may be pregnant, which would make the Flash the only member of the Justice League currently about to have a baby. Best Laid Plans, written by Jeremy Adams, so I guess he is the current Flash writer, and penciled by Serge Acuna, sees Linda and Wally coming to terms with her newfound speedster abilities. She has speedster abilities now, which strangely manifested in the Flash #779 and are still unexplained. And now she's preggers.
Right.
So, okay.
So, which I guess makes their third, because don't they already have 2? So, but I don't know. Yeah, so there you
I don't know.
Excuse me, folks.
I was about to say, I'll keep going, give you a chance to take a break.
Trying to go forward.
All right, let's see here. Batman's deadly new villain was created by, spoiler alert. Oh, this is about this week's Batman #127. So I'm not going to spoil it because I didn't talk about it enough. But it is the character Failsafe, and basically it was created to take out Batman. And I won't say who creates it, but if you think well and think a little hard about who might be able to do that, you might be able to come up with a very short list. And the person is probably that you're thinking of is probably on it. The person who did it is actually on that short list.
I don't think I know who this character is.
Failsafe is a new character.
No, I know that, but I mean the creator of.
Just think hard about it. Think of who would be capable of creating a failsafe in case Batman goes, in case Batman needs to be taken down. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of somebody,
Next.
but I don't remember that name. So I guess if it is that person, then
It's
I
a
don't know
new,
about
it's a
them.
new creation.
Gotcha.
It's a new creation. Okay. All right. Next up, let's see here. DC celebrates Batman Day with free comics and a full-length podcast. What's a short podcast? We don't know what that is. We only do full-length podcasts here, folks. So DC is celebrating Batman Day. I'm sorry to make Roddykat laugh and cough up more of his lungs. DC is celebrating Batman Day later this month by releasing free comics and the entirety of Batman, the audio adventures first season. On September 17th, DC will celebrate Batman Day by providing fans with free comics at participating comic book shops. Titles available include Batman Hush #1, Batman Day Special by Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee, and Batman's Mystery Casebook Batman's Day Special Edition by writer Shali Fish and artist Christopher Uminga. Let's see here. Scrolling, let's see if there's anything interesting here. We all know what happened in Hush. The Batman Mystery Casebook Batman Day Special Edition is a preview of Fish and Uminga's graphic novel for middle grade readers age 8 to 12, so it's a different taste than Hush. Hush is classic DC stuff and Jim Lee art. So let's see here. Oh, to further celebrate Batman Day, as I mentioned earlier, DC has also released the first season of Batman the Audio Adventures on all podcast platforms. This was previously available exclusively on HBO Max. Batman the Audio Adventures is written and directed by Dennis McNicholas and features a vocal cast which includes the Batman's Jeffrey Wright, the Book of Boba Fett's Rosario Dawson, Spawn's John Leguizamo, Seth Meyers, Chris Parnell, Bobby Moynihan, a bunch of SNL people, and more. Mm-hmm. The story follows Batman after he decides to hang up his cape and cowl and become a Gotham City employee. All while some of his worst villains are plotting sinister plans of their own. Okay. Batman the Audio Adventures has been renewed for a second season, which will premiere later this fall. DC has also announced that Batman the Audio Adventures is getting a limited series comic tie-in from Anthony Marquez and Dennis McNicholas, which launches on September 27th. That is a mouthful for Batman Day.
Indeed. I think I'm all right. So I can take this.
All right, go ahead.
Excuse me. Sabotage. I'll tell you, folks. I don't know what the hell happened there. Batman Hush's 20th anniversary edition hardcover to include brand new story from Jim Lee, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me. Oh wait, no. Let's see. 20th anniversary of Hush anniversary edition reunites original writer Jeff Loeb and artist Jim Lee for a 5-page story set after the events of 2003's Batman 619. DC is keeping the exact plot of the story under wraps, but apparently IGN has a couple panels from the story that you can check out and speculate. I've never read Hush, so I don't know anything that happened in the story, but I heard people like it. So go forth, folks. Next up.
Rocksteady celebrates Harley Quinn's 30th and Women in Gaming with Amanda Connor art. Okay. So this art was shared by Rocksteady Studios in celebration of the character's 30th anniversary and the ongoing Women in Games Global Festival. And as I said, it was drawn by Amanda Connor, who has illustrated Harley regularly since 2014. The illustration shows the character sitting atop her teammates Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark with I guess a controller in hand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, yeah, this is what I was alluding to earlier because just like Batman the Animated Series, Harley Quinn, which came out of that show, is also 30 years old.
Hmm.
So, yeah. McFarlane Toys unveils new Gorilla Grodd mega figure. It's posted on McFarlane's Toys Instagram. The new Gorilla Grodd mega figure comes with a Flash comic book exclusive to the Page Punchers line, a collectible art card, and a base for the figure to stand in. Excuse me. The description on McFarlane Toys website further reads: Mega Figs are large figures to match their 7-inch scale figure counterparts based off of the DC multiverse. Designed with ultra articulation with up to 22 moving parts for full range of posing and play. If you're watching the video version of the program, you can see said picture, said Instagram post with the Grodd figure, and I guess the comic book that is coming along with it on your screen right now. Okay, next up.
Interestingly, I did see something that Todd McFarlane posted on social media today, which is that he's going to be at D23 and he's going to be signing. And McFarlane Toys is going to be at D23, so I'm curious to see what they announce.
Interesting. Also, pre-orders are available right now, and it's $39.99, and it'll be available later this year. So.
All right. Next up, Renegade Game Studios continues to release new additions to both its Heroes of the Grid series and its Power Rangers role-playing game, but its latest reveal is perfect for both, and it's something that will delight longtime fans. That is the new Power Rangers Zordon Dice Tower, which turns Zordon's iconic floating head in a tube look and transforms the tube into a 9-inch dice tower that can be used in both sets of games. Plus, it has a double-sided panel styled like the command center on one side and featuring Game Master tips on the other. You can pre-order the Zordon Dice Tower on this page. Okay.
Yeah, it's an interesting looking piece, I would say. Nick Fury's Secret Invasion look revealed by NYCC Funko Pop, apparently. So, says here, Nick Fury will be sporting a new look when Secret Invasion debuts next year, and the Funko Pop gives a glimpse to his change. So I'm just, if you're watching the video version, again, you can see the picture of the Funko Pop in question with his coat and green pants and shoes, and I guess his non-eye patch wearing eye. So the limited edition Secret Invasion Funko Pop is for New York Comic Con, which takes place October 6th through the 9th. Oh yeah, and a beanie, of course. So I believe it says here that it is an October-themed Frightmare on Fun Street campaign from Funko. I'm sitting here looking for the price of this, which is probably $11.99 more than likely, because that's usually what those things run. But I am not seeing that price, so we'll just go with that until we have something else. Next up.
So She-Hulk Attorney at Law, the Disney Plus show, has been, in conjunction with it, Funko has been releasing pop figures that have been based on the show. The latest one being of Wong, and he also comes with a portal, and it looks pretty cool. Pre-orders for the She-Hulk Wong Funko Pop are live now, and you can have it for $11.99.
Yeah, there's also, and apparently this must be straight out of this current episode, given what he's got in his hands also, because I'm pretty sure he hasn't had anything like that before now. Or at least before now in She-Hulk, I should say. But yeah, there's an Abomination Funko Pop, and also one for Jen Walters, Smart Hulk, and Ginger. So there you go. Dr. Doom getting a powerful level up during Marvel's Fortnite War, which I can't believe this thing is still going on, but yeah. And this is spoilers for Fortnite times Marvel Zero War number 4, which again is out. I believe it might have come out like last week or something. I don't know. Let's see. Hey, guess what? It's Dr. Doom. He gets more power. Is that really a big surprise to anyone in any way, shape, or form? And apparently he's doing this in that Fortnite crossover, so I'm not even going to go into that whole business. It feels like from what I've read of this thing, though, it seems like another Secret Wars, but just in another parallel universe or something. I don't know. That Fortnite's a weird thing anyway. Next up.
All right, so this story has some spoilers for Knights of X number 5, which came out last week. And I did not read this. Did you?
No, I did
Roddykat?
not. Mm-mm.
So apparently, Captain Britain, aka Betsy Braddock, finally brought an end to Merlin's reign of terror in the most permanent way possible. So I'm just going to leave it at that because that's pretty shocking.
Yeah, I was reading this and then I kind of fell off for the last few issues, but I will definitely end up going checking it out and see what happened.
Okay.
Ghost Rider writer promises a major role for Wolverine in the series, which is what we alluded to earlier.
Right.
To when we were talking about books. So, Ghost Rider 6 just came out. So, Benjamin Percy basically says that the X-Men character will continue to play into the series even beyond that. In this interview with CBR, he was asked about Wolverine's presence in the Ghost Rider book and what made him want to write a Johnny Blaze Logan team up. And he says, and I quote, "I wanted Ghost Rider to feel abandoned at first," Percy answered. "He's been gone for a long time and nobody came looking for him except we learned Zeb the Magician. So he has a loner sensibility to kick off the series, which, to be fair, he's kind of had that already, well before now, and acts like a wandering Ronin." But yada, 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 the CCC said he's going to bring in other players in the 616. And since he's also writing Wolverine, you know, excuse me, that plays into things. And I'm going to start talking for a second. Next up.
Sure. I was about to say I might read the next few just to keep things moving. Spider-Man 2099 Green Goblin undergoes a massive transformation. This is a part of an official preview for Marvel's Spider-Man 2099 Exodus Omega #1. So it's going to begin. Actually, this is Exodus Omega #1 was set
This
to hit
week.
comic book shops this week.
Yeah.
I did not read this. Okay. So yeah, so something big happens to the Green Goblin this week in Spider-Man 2099, at least in the 2099 version. So let's not spoil that. Next up, let's see. Ms. Marvel joins Spider-Man and the X-Men Dark Web crossover. So that makes a lot of sense. This story is actually written by our very own at TimDog98. Dark Web was officially announced at San Diego Comic-Con and was teased in the Free Comic Book Day 2022 Spider-Man Venom #1 when Madeline Pryor met up with Peter Parker's clone Ben Reilly, now going by the villainous alias Chasm. So there will be several tie-ins to Dark Web among the Spider-Man and X-Men family of titles, including Ms. Marvel, who is a new intern at Oscorp, where Peter Parker is also working with his longtime nemesis, Norman Osborn. If you've been reading the latest Amazing Spider-Man, you know this already. Dark Web, Ms. Marvel is a 2-issue limited series from writer Sabir Pirzada and artist Francesco Mortarino. So it's interesting that they're going to continue putting out miniseries involving Kamala Khan, but have not yet settled on putting out an ongoing series with the character. I personally wonder if it's because they're not sure how to deal with the change in her power set. Maybe they're trying to figure out how to arrange that and MCUify the character in the regular comic book universe.
Right. I got this next one. I think I'm all right.
Sure. Go ahead. I was about to say, just let me know and I'll carry on.
Sure. Marvel's Miracle Man will explore the character's youth and introduce a new villain. So Marvel Comics has revealed new details regarding the long-awaited return of Miracle Man. As a matter of fact, I will go so far as to say that this week's batch of books have variant covers with Miracle Man on them, if you are so inclined for that stuff. But announced back in June, Neil Gaiman and Mark Buckingham, the creative team behind Miracle Man: The Golden Age, are collaborating on Miracle Man 0, which is set to hit comic book shops on October the 5th. From Marvel. The legendary comic book creator, current owner. Well, I just said that. I don't know why I even repeated that. Let's see. Also, there's going to be Miracle Man: The Silver Age from the same creative team. And they will finally revisit their unfinished Miracle Man epic. So, there you go. And this story goes on to talk about other stories that involve Miracle Man, such as, well, I'm not going to read it, but there's basically other stories with other creative teams that's going to come along at this time in just like Miracle Man Zero. So next up.
Alrighty, this next article is an interview with Frank J. Barbieri, and it's really an interview, but it's the lead-in is that his series Astonishing Times, written by himself and Aris Quinones, artist, and worked on by artist Ruairi, forgive me, Ruairi Coleman, colorist Lauren Affey, and letterer Taylor Esposito, and designer Dylan Todd created that Astonishing Times book. The series was originally released as a Comixology original, but is about to be collected in print by Dark Horse Comics for the reader who would prefer to hold a physical copy. I'm looking for a date on when that's going to be available, but this article is a nice little... I see it at the end. Astonishing Times Volume 1 is due out on Wednesday this week, September 7th, from Dark Horse Comics. So this is a timely interview.
Right. Creator first platform Zest World enters phase 2 with new comics and new creators. So it says here that Zest World is in a new open beta phase, and along with free comics, new creators, and an updated design, the new phase will also allow subscribers early access to titles, behind-the-scenes reveals, access to invite-only events, virtual drawing sessions, the chance to have their likeness featured in an upcoming comic title, and more. It says that we've spent the last several months testing, learning, and iterating alongside our fantastic launch creators while we build Zest World into the premier creator-owned vertical scroll comics platform. So basically, like webtoons and the like. It says Zest World CEO and co-founder Chris Gilberti. All the while, our creator waitlist has grown to encompass hundreds of the leading names in the industry. We're delighted to emerge from closed beta and welcome new creators in waves. Next up, Dave Marquez, Liana Kangas, and Bill Walko, among others, will join us to publish comics, fulfill commissions, and build their communities through Zest World. So this is the first time I've actually heard of this platform. So more power to them, I guess. But yeah. Anyway, if you want more information, go to zestworld.com to check out what they got going on there. Next up.
Usagi Yojimbo creator Stan Sakai is launching an imprint at Dark Horse Comics entitled Dogu Publishing. He says he's very excited, honored, and thankful to have his own publishing imprint with Dark Horse. As the sole creator and owner of Usagi Yojimbo, he adds, this is a significant milestone. So... reading. So he's definitely crediting some of the lead people at Dark Horse for helping him. And he has a new team at Dogu Publishing, CEO Jeremiah Blank, COO Julie Sakai, and President Daniel Fuji. Sakai said Fuji was critical when it came to working on the deal with Netflix that led to Samurai Rabbit, the Usagi Chronicles, an animated series that features characters inspired by Usagi Yojimbo. Okay, Julie Sakai is his wife, is Stan Sakai's wife, that is. And she'll be working on more chibi Usagi stories for Dogu Publishing, which would be colored by Emi Fuji, her daughter. Okay. Keeping it in the family, Stan, good job. Interestingly, the creator-owned Usagi Yojimbo series is currently published by IDW. But it looks like Stan is now being welcomed back to the company, so we'll see if Usagi Yojimbo goes back to Dark Horse eventually, because Usagi Yojimbo has jumped around publishers for a while.
Yes.
And I believe that is it for comic book news.
That is. Let's get one more ad read, please.
Sure. Our last ad read of the night, because we've been up for a long time, is for Amazon. Help us keep our podcast free by shopping at Amazon. Visit cspn.us and click the Keep Our Podcast Free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down and click on the Amazon link to shop. Purchase items from Amazon as you normally would, whether it's books, music, electronics, jewelry, apparel, or Marvel Legends. For every purchase made on Amazon through our link, Amazon sends the CSPN a payment that helps us keep the Comic Book Chronicles podcast free for our listeners at no extra cost to you. Amazon.com through CSPN.us. Do it today. And I think you have a special delivery package this week, Roddykat.
I did. I'm not sure. I just opened it. I'm not sure if I should if I should say what it is or not. Did you get it?
No, I did not get one. I think what happens is if you don't speak up and say I want something, he doesn't send you one.
What else is it? I don't remember asking for this.
Well, then he likes you better.
Stop it. That is getting away. That's not true. No, I'm not. This is actually, well, since we brought it up, I'm not sure what this is.
It's at Matt Wang 97. Basically cleaning out some of the cool things that he has in his office.
Which, as I told my wife, it was like, yeah, it could be that, or it could be something you came across. It's. Hold on a second. Sorry, folks.
We need to get Roddykat a utility knife.
I actually have one, but I left it in the other room.
Of course.
So I'm going to.
Roddykat needs to have a blade on him at all times. Damn it!
Hey, I'm in the South. You don't. Never mind, let me shut up.
No, I'm saying y'all have guns. We have blades up here.
Yeah, that's I was about to say something to that effect, but I was like, yeah, you know what? Let me shut up. I'm going to not say what I was about to say, but nevertheless, I'm going to. Let me see something here. I'm gonna mute myself real quick while I get this last pass.
That's so funny. That is so funny. Oh boy. What are you gonna do, folks? What are you gonna do?
Awesome. Wow.
Oh, you know what? We do have a sound effect for this, and I think I have it like shuffled off to the second page of my sound effects. Where did I put this sound effect? Where could it be? Oh my God, what did I do with it? Did I really get rid of it? Oh no. Did I really get rid of it? That's impossible. I must have put it down here. Oh, here it is. It's still on my first page. Oh, what's in the box? Thank you.
There we go. Let me see. Hopefully this is going to play. It's not going to play.
Oh, wow. That looks like a big box.
It is a big box. So I'm going to do something unprecedented here.
He's going to drop his virtual background.
I really hate to do that, but I am. Because it's a holy hell of a mess back here. So
no one's gonna notice.
Oh yes, they will. So bear with me for a second while I do set that. And blap. There we go.
No one's gonna notice.
Oh yes.
Wow.
So yeah. This thing is called. It says Claustrophobia 1643. I don't know if that probably doesn't play well.
Holy cow! That thing is gigantic. Is that a board game?
It looks like it because it says at the bottom. It's from Monolith Board Game LLC.
Wow.
But yeah, look at this shit.
That thing's gigantic, yo. That's why you got it, because you're the board game aficionado of the Comic Book Chronicles.
Well, yeah, that is. I guess that's true now. So yeah,
I don't know about true now. It has been true.
I mean, yeah. So let's see if that, because I know my ring light's fucking with her. So let me turn this.
It's okay. It looks fine, even with the ring light reflection. That's pretty cool. Wow. Yeah, what's the of the game? What's the story? Is there anything on the box that tells you what it's about?
There is nothing on the box that says anything about it outside.
Oh, wow.
Like it's just the name of it, and like I said, oh wait, let me see. Nope, nothing on that side, nothing on the front and back. Nope, that's pretty much that. Like even on the bottom, it just says, oh no, it's just and that's in French, and my French is terrible, so that's just a danger warning.
Wow, I'm impressed, man. I'm gonna definitely shoot at Matt Wang 97 a DM or a text and be like, "Hey, man, don't send me anything that big." I'm sorry. I'm gonna have Roddykat cough up another lung.
Oh man.
What remains of his lungs are about to be coughed up.
Yeah, I don't even know why I'm coughing so much now. This is ridiculous.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
I have to properly thank him because I think I did send out a I think I put on Instagram that I got the box, but it was like I don't know what this is.
That's a gigantic box. Was that the only thing in that box?
Oh yeah, that was it.
Oh wow, I think it's gigantic.
Heavy, so this joint is
You got to let us know, like what's in it. If there's anything cool inside.
Yeah,
you should definitely pack a box cutter in your home office now, in your podcast setup, just for this type of situation.
Yeah, well, normally I would have opened it up before. I did. Well, I opened it up part of it, but I didn't see I didn't open it.
I have an old, kind of messed up Swiss Army knife just for that occasion here in my home office desk. Right.
So. But I didn't even put over. Hold on a second. I didn't. There we go. I didn't switch the thing, so folks could actually see it.
Yeah, you did. Oh, you mean the view?
Yeah, I didn't switch it in scripts. So I'll just do this like. Really
I saw it. Oh.
Yeah, no, you saw it, but folks out there didn't get the full of it. So
there it is. Look at that, folks. Look at that box art.
That's the back.
That's impressive.
And this thing is heavy.
What's it called?
Claustrophobia 1643.
All right, to the Googles we go.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna look it up on the board game site and see what's
Claustrophobia.
And like I said, this thing's a little heavy too. It's got some heft to it.
43 board game. Oh my goodness.
So thank you to.
It's a miniatures. Okay, go ahead. Finish up.
Oh no, go ahead. Hit it.
No. You're gonna say thank you to @MattWang97.
Yeah, I was gonna say thanks, MattWang97. I will definitely shoot you an email or a text before you hear this anyway. But but I do appreciate it.
Wow. So it's a miniatures-based survival game set within the catacombs, so that explains why it's so big and heavy, because there are miniatures in there.
Right.
The box contains miniatures which are placed on large tiles showing the dungeon spaces. Also included are character dashboards, counters, and markers and dice. One player controls a small group of determined humans, while the other plays an almost unending army of demonic creatures. The game is thematic and highly asymmetric. Human characters are stronger, but the demon characters are more numerous. Gameplay is straightforward with a minimum of rules, and each game plays in an hour or less.
Oh, nice.
Nice. So you just need one other person to play. That's pretty cool.
Good luck for me finding that.
Oh please, you can get a family member to play with you, because this sounds like there's not, it's not like D&D. That's pretty cool. So I'm gonna send Roddykat a link to this is BoardGameGeek.com's write-up.
I was gonna look there actually, so you saved me some trouble. Thank you.
Right, so I have the link, and I'll be sending that over to Roddykat. We'll go over that while we process the show before we log off for the night. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Thanks, @MattWang97.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. This is dope. I don't even know. I haven't even seen the insides of it, but that's pretty great.
That looks, it has a good rating. It's rated 8.0. I'm assuming that's out of 10.
I would think so. You normally, out of from them, I think so. So okay, but yeah, like I said, I'm gonna have to. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to check.
You gotta crack that sucker open.
See if I could torture the wife with it. Like, hey.
There you go. There you go.
So, at that rate, wait. Did we do a last ad read?
Yes, we did it. Amazon.
Okay. Cool. Well, in that case, we're going to end the show. So I have been Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter. You can find me at News on Twitter. You can find me at CBCaps on Instagram. Agent_70 on Twitter and Instagram. PC_dirt on Twitter. PopCultureNet on Twitter. PopCultureNetwork.com is the umbrella sites they're in. Tim, DOGG98 on Twitter. CB Chron on Twitter, which is the Comic Book Chronicles Twitter account. The Kliq Nation on Twitter. That's TheKliqNation, all one word, on Twitter. And also, excuse me, comicbook.com, where he's over there writing his face off. You can find this here podcast on the Coastal of the Podcast Network. That's CSPN.us.
Do it today.
You can also find us on your podcast browser place of choice, whether it be Google Play, Apple iTunes, aka Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the Coastal of the Podcast Network's SoundCloud page.
Make sure to hit like and subscribe and leave us all the 5-star reviews that are good.
Yes. You can find us recording here every Thursday night, 9:30-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the YouTube channel of The Kliq Nation. That's youtube.com/TheKliqNation. And the twitch.tv/Comic Book Chronicles.
Make sure to hit like and subscribe and hit the notification button so that you know when we are online and broadcasting.
Yes, indeed. And with that, I apologize for the coughing fit I had earlier this week, earlier in the program. I have no idea what happened with that. But we will be back next week, all fit and fiddle and all that kind of good mess, with another episode of She-Hulk and whatever else we plan on talking about, and likely some D23 news. Because
yes, more likely than not. Yes. There's already rumors of some fantastic forecasting out there, but we will see if those are confirmed this weekend.
Yep. So come back with us next week for it, folks. With that, this has been the Comic Book Chronicles. Peace.
Peace, one.
And knowing is half the battle.
Mm-hmm.